and so is this week's brand new episode of One Piece, which is all about the rare poneglyphs, which hold the secret to finding the secret island of Raftel, which will lead the Straw Hat Pirates this much closer to the legendary One Piece. But this week's chapter also has another big shocking secret. Apparently, Momonosuke's father has a big connection to the most famous pirate from the One Piece series, Gold D. Roger. For One Piece fans who don't read the manga version, this is kind of like mandatory viewing. There is some big information which is dropped in this episode. A lot of that is devoted, of course, to the poneglyphs, getting to learn a little bit more about them, how the normal, bluish, grayish looking poneglyphs basically tell the entire secret of the 100-year voided history, which is I'm sure, going to be very important to the One Piece series, but it's really all about the road poneglyphs, which are going to be instrumental to finding One Piece, with one of them belonging to the Mink tribe, one going to Big Mom, one going to Kaido, and one being a complete and utter mystery. However, there is one big piece of information in this episode which is very shocking, that being the fact that Momonosuke's father, Oden, is not only the former leader of the land of Wano, but was actually executed by Kaido. Now, the reason this is so important and not just a plot device to make you care a little bit more about Momonosuke is because Oden happened to be one of the traveling companions of Gold Roger. He was one of the pirates who actually went to the island of Raftel. Not only that, but he holds the secrets to actually reading and writing the calligraphy, which is seen on the poneglyphs. In fact, the poneglyphs originated from the Wano Kingdom. They were the ones who actually created them. And this is exactly why Kaido and the Beast Pirates were after Oden and the samurai. Since they were the ones that actually defeated Oden and executed him, they want to find any other samurai who could possibly oppose them and create some sort of destructive force which could take them down. So everything is finally starting to fall into place. This was an incredibly important episode of One Piece, not to mention they also remind us why Nico Robin is so incredibly important, as she's one of the few people in the entire world who actually has the ability to decipher the things which are on the poneglyphs, which means there are going to be a lot of people who are going to be aiming right for Nico Robin's head. So what's the rundown on this week's episode of One Piece? So much information in such a small amount of time, and yet still barely anything happened in this week's episode of One Piece, but this is one of those episodes that you kind of have to watch, especially if you want to be following this story. There's just so much big information from this episode, and if you could take a drink every single time you saw the shocked face of a character in this episode, hell, you'd be pissed drunk by the end of it. What I think I also really loved about this episode is that we got another really great scene with Jack. He's having this nightmare about the scene when they were trying to go after Doflamingo and they were attacked by Isho and Sengoku and Suru as they're having this big epic battle on the water as he's trying to get Doflamingo back. And apparently he was severely injured during this battle, and that makes sense because Isho is pretty freaking badass. There's a great scene too where they even try to fire these cannonballs right at his ship, and he manages to stop it with his gravity powers, so that was pretty damned awesome. And Jack at this point is just pissed off. Sheepshead and Jin Rummy have returned and told them about everything that's been going on Zou, so they're making a beeline towards the giant elephant so that they can start kicking some Mink tribe ass. So you know this is going to result in one hell of a massive confrontation with the Straw Hat Pirates. But the biggest information about this episode definitely came from the fact that the poneglyphs originated from the Wano Kingdom and that the royal family and those who actually learned how to write and decipher these messages are pretty much all being wiped out by Kaido because they want all of these secrets for themselves. So a lot of the puzzle pieces actually fell into place in this episode, and that makes that one hell of an important episode of One Piece. Honestly, it was one of the better episodes that I've seen in a couple of weeks, and I really, really liked it. So on that front, I'm going to give this episode right here a solid 4 out of 5 just for the story developments alone. And just getting to see all of the amazing and fun reactions from the characters, especially Luffy, who is just jacked all the hell up about getting to learn a little bit more about these poneglyphs. In fact, I think my favorite scene from the episode is when him and Usopp are having this argument about what they can do to actually get the poneglyphs, because Luffy just wants to go in, guns a-blazing, beating the crap out of everyone in his way, and steal the poneglyphs himself. But Usopp wants to go the easy route, of course, because he's a chicken shit, and he just wants to basically, copy the message. They can actually, put a piece of paper over it, put some ink on it, stamp it, and just take all of that with them, and everything would be fine. but that's just not the way that Luffy does things. And of course, that's just the promise of a lot of exciting things happening later on in this arc of One Piece. And the Zou arc is just about finished. We're almost there, right before we move into the next big arc of the series, where our characters are going to go looking for Sanji, as well as a few other developments which haven't even been brought up in the manga version yet. So, exciting time to be a fan of One Piece, and I can only imagine how excited people who only watch the anime version are. So, yeah, great time right here. This was a fantastic episode, and that's why I gave it a 4 out of 5. But if any of you did watch the episode, make sure to tell me what you thought about it in the comments section below. Were you shocked by the big announcements in this week's episode? What do you hope to see from the conclusion of the Zou arc, and what do you want to see from the rest of the One Piece series? Make sure to tell me about your favorite moments from this episode, and that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you liked this video, please give it a like. I'd really appreciate it, and leave me a comment or two. I will see you guys next time, and as always, stay dandy, baby.